Good evening. This is a special Saturday evening broadcast of the Hostage Diaries. And today we're going to discuss the various angles and tricks that accompany the gray area shadow games surrounded by the cottage industry that it's based upon my kidnapping and the derivatives of my kidnapping within controlling the estate, like the Great Train Robbery or the Italian Job, or the Lufthansa heist from the Goodfellas. I mean, those were shrimp. I mean, those really were shrimp, small time compared to the modern pro mafia that just they figured out a way through counterfeiting and money laundering and kidnapping and hostages and breeding human shields for extortion leverage. Now that's real pro mafia. The old Italian mafia were blue collar. Most of the world didn't hide behind, they weren't the law. It's a different world, a transition to the shadows of chicanery and wizards. Ooh, it's Wizard Wars, World of Warcraft. Woo! All these poisons and backstabbing little bitches with their spears in your back while they pick your pocket and bleed you dry. You got to learn to see through a lot of the pictures. It's like a lot of what was going on was actually pointing out celestial astronomy to what was going on in other places. The gangs of New York, that really just illuminated a lot of what was going on in modern time. I mean, it was done in a historical context, but a lot of the same cons are what were going on. Oceans 11, 12, and 13 is a real con. We're in the middle of all of the biggest combination of cons going on right now. And the question is, who benefits, how, and why? I just happen to be one of the major. I'm not the only one. I'm just a big cathedral here. They're robbing the coffers. They're looting the. What it is it's the holy anointed oils. That's what they want. They want the holy oil. They want the holy wine. They want that miracle that they're creating, which is really just a grand illusion Wizard of Oz. There was a line from the Devil's Advocate that said the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing man that he did not exist. Well, that context has been taken way overboard. What's going on is a lifetime of kidnapping, of taking these high value targets. That's what happened to me. I mean, I've traced my life back to all the way through. Obviously, people knew who I was. And so what did they do? They tried to brainwash me and then bury my body. And like dog buried a bone in the backyard, like Wilford there. So they were going to bury the treasure so they could dig it up later. But they didn't. I'm supposed to be dead. For some miracle, I'm alive. I think there's a number of factions that kept me alive. But I am, honestly, I was murdered by suicide. The extreme torture over many, 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 many years. Minnie Pearl. And my great-grandmother's name was Minnie, and they lived on the Pearl River, I guess, or, like Mickey and Minnie Mouse. But, that's just a coincidence there, that's, they've been stalking us for a long time, that good old, whoever it might be, call it whatever, call everything oil, just murder them and bury them and dig them up later and call it Earl. That's a mighty fine Earl. We can sell that at anything. Turn it into a petroleum product. So then, what's going on is they've conned through chicanery and illusion and cajole to howdy-doody puppeteer marionettes. Like in The Godfather, there's a picture of a hand on a cross with a bunch of strings going down to puppets, like a marionette. Well, that's what's been going on. I happen to be one of the cross, and they got a whole bunch of strings. My family were kidnapped in the King David Caldwell Zoo of Tyler, Texas. That was a called shot there, like Babe Ruth called his shot. And that it were style points in my kidnapping and robbery, real important, because they wanted to get the cool factor in there. They wanted to go ahead and be the cool it's playing all the angles. That's why the shadow games are so necessary. There's a whole huge, big old bush of nasty Dixie mafia hiding under Laura Bush's skirt. I mean, that's why they don't want to make a decision because they have to eat something. And there's a big old fajita underneath a Dixie mafia fajita that's sweating right now underneath there, praying to the Lord. Don't let the sun come up and shine on us. We scared of the truth. Because then, the Bushes are going to side with the government and the bank, and they're going to have to eat the mafia. So the Dixie Mafia don't want that. They are desperate to keep this silent. That's why it's the real short choke chain leash. That's why they bred some human shield hostages in my family, because we're on choke chain leashes, you know. We're worth billions of dollars and we're sold, but they're going to keep the mafia. The Dixie Mafia is going to keep us on short leashes. Well, there's different factions. They were part of the Italian Mafia and the Dixie Mafia were playing volleyball. Who could fuck us worse? Who could spike us down and spear us and screw us the best? So that's when you got into, there was the JV Jesuit volunteers where I was free, you know, just give it all away like Mardi Gras. And then there was the Dixie Mafia on the other side, and it's that Annie get your gun. What you can do, I can do better. So it was who can screw us better. Like, remember in Pulp Fiction when they had Marcellus Wallace and Butch down there? Well, that's Zed and his buddy, or the Louisiana Mafia and the Dixie Mafia ramming us. We're gagged and bound, tied up, getting fucked like Deliverance. Some passion fruit crucified. It's freedom of religion, passion fruits. We get all that free holy wine and holy oil. And they paraded. You know what this is all about? It's all about the virgin plaid skirts they want to distribute because they're high chemical values. It's all about equality. It's all about the equality, passing all this out to the mob, because then it's like expanding, but it's not muscle, because if you would have built muscle, you would have built a global empire with Europe. Instead, you wanted to be the master. So you're fat. You are a big, fat, lard-ass tub of shit is what the U.S. Mafia has become, because all it did, it just expanded wide. There is no They're going to try to be the wizards of muscle. They think they can wizard with their muscle because they printed a shit ton of cash, but the cash is going to jump ship. I have a prediction. The cash is going to be going out, and it's going to be running out like Swiss cheese all over the place. They ain't going to, Starbucks going to run to the sky, and you're going to leave an empty shell. But it's pretty fucking scary what's really going on. A whole lot of chicanery. The mafia evolved, like in Godfather 3, where they turned legit. Well, the legit end is kidnapped and counterfeiting and identity theft and money laundering. They buy a ton of politicians. They buy a ton of judges. They buy and bribe the law. They buy a ton of idols. The best way to launder money, they're throwing money at anything. Who cares? You got a college degree? Heck, that's better than God. You got more money than God. You're worth more than Jesus. You're more important than Jesus. That's how vain and proud you is, Bubba. So it's a real crapshoot here. There's so many games going on. They're terrified. All these factions of the mafia, they're desperate to keep their chump change cottage industry going on, though, which happens to be me. I'm a source. It's like the entire Gulf of Mexico. It's like the entire Gulf of Mexico oil supplies. It would seem like, because they gamble. It's because they gamble. They never built any bridges. They want to burn bridges. They are daredevils. They are brave. There ain't no chickens here. Ain't no chicken fried steak. They ain't no Popeyes, Louisiana fast fried chicken taking the dog walk. No, they brave. They don't goddamn bridges. Who gives a shit about the bill? We done raped us some bastard whore kids. So we get hell to pay, right? AC/DC? We got us some magic. We got us some magic possessions. Praise the Jesus.